Welcome back, SALT community, to another episode of Road to SALT webinar series. If you've been tracking along with us this year, I'm so glad that you joined us here. It is November 1st. We are finally past Halloween. Hopefully everybody got their candy fix last night, and we're journeying towards Christmas. It is coming. This is your maybe first warning that it is approaching, so hopefully you've got your plans together for all your Christmas services and all that. But we are very excited that we are 2 weeks out from SALT Conference. It is going to be happening here in Nashville, Tennessee, just down the road from this studio that we're recording from. And you can get all the details at salt2023.com. I hope you'll join us. But if you can't make it in person, or you would prefer to enjoy SALT Conference from the pleasure of your own office or couch or whatever, you can also do that online. And so we have a SALT virtual option. All the details are on our website: workshop, speakers, schedule, and the works. We do not want you to miss that. As Road to SALT members and people who are watching this webinar, we have a special treat for you. We have a discount code for those of you who would like to attend virtually. The details here on the screen, and then our friends at Canon, who are helping make this episode possible, are going to help make the price a little bit more affordable if you want to come in person. So you can see those discount codes. Use code RTS20 to get 20% off a virtual ticket, and you can use code CAN50 off to get $50 off an in-person ticket. You do not want to miss it. It's going to be November 15th through 17th. Again, we're 2 weeks out. You can get all the details at salt2023.com. A couple of weeks ago, our team released a video to kind of help give a little bit of an essence of what SALT Conference is all about, the heartbeat, and what you may experience if you're here in person or streaming online. We want to play that video, so take a look at this.
Hey, I'm Luke McElroy, and I want to give you a glimpse of what SALT Conference is all about. At the core, we want to challenge you to greatness when it comes to utilizing creativity and technology in the local church. Regardless of the role that you play, be it communications, worship, production, or any form of creativity, we want to come alongside you and inspire you, equip you, and connect you. Inspiration breeds inspiration. So from the moment that you step foot into the doors at SALT Conference, we want to immerse you into a sea of creativity. From interactive artistic experiences to exploring industry-leading companies as you walk throughout the halls. Our hope is that you will be inspired with new ideas, new technology, and a new way of seeing how creativity can be used in the local church. This is all to help you refine your calling and your craft. And though it may be different every year, we feel like being inspired looks like engaging conference openers, a collective laugh through a well-timed moment of humor, immersive storytelling, innovative technology, and a set design that may evoke that sense of wonder. But we want you to leave with far more than just new ideas and a full tank of inspiration. We want to equip you with tools, techniques, and the skill set to bring those ideas to life. The SALT pre-conference experience, it's like a masterclass in real life, with a 4-hour deep dive into a specific area of focus so that you can walk away with a playbook, a process, and a plan to go implement immediately. The 8 workshop tracks that will cover almost everything practical will help you explore disciplines specific to the technology, tactics, formula, and strategies that you're interested in. This is a great way to curate your conference experience for what you want most by going to the workshops that best fit your learning needs and the topics that appeal most to you. Beyond those, we'll often host labs and lounge environments that get you hands-on experience with technologies. This way, you'll walk away from SALT with not just knowledge, but experience that will impact your weekly ministry. But no matter how much inspiration and knowledge you have, there will always be those times when you just need to phone a friend. And our hope at SALT is that you will find your people. Ministry can be isolating at times, we know that. And that's why we craft a space at SALT where meeting people is both easy and comfortable. Yeah, even for introverts. Whether it be a guided discussion with a group over a lunch or a casual interaction in one of our creative environments, you can leave SALT knowing where others are around the country who do what you do, so you have your back when you go home. The ultimate connection, though, that we want you to make at SALT is one on a spiritual level. Worship without working is vital to your soul, and a deep relationship with Christ is the fuel that will prevail when the days become long and the feelings of burnout begin to creep in. As the Ecclesiastes writer alludes, everything is meaningless apart from God. At no point do I want you to think that SALT believes technology or creativity will save your church or replace the transformational power of the gospel of Jesus Christ. That is not our hope. This is why our team wants to make space for you to find a deep connection and encounter with the creator of all creativity. Our own name points to this very heartbeat, SALT. It's not an acronym, it's not a scripture reference, it's a picture. A picture of the role that creativity and technology plays in our local churches. Just as you would add a pinch of salt to chocolate cookies to help enhance that chocolate flavor, we believe your church can add a pinch of creativity and technology to enhance the message of Jesus Christ and make it more palatable to your local community. This is why I want to invite you to join us at SALT Conference, where you will be inspired, equipped, and connected to become that needed pinch of salt in your home church.
So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a glimpse of what we're going to be leaning into here in a couple of weeks here in Nashville, November 15th through 17th. Again, you can go to salt2023.com for all the details and to register today. We do not want to miss you. So without further ado, let's jump into today's webinar topic, adding Canon to your creative arsenal. Very, very excited that our friend David is joining us today. Canon has been a big supporter of SALT, the SALT community, the SALT mission, the heartbeat of what we're trying to do to help local churches sort of increase their creative and technical potential. So much so that when they heard what we were doing with this webinar series in the studio, they literally said we wanted to be involved. And so all year long, if you've seen any of our other webinar episodes, we have been proudly shooting on Canon cameras all year long. And that just makes me so happy to say out loud. And so we wanted to make sure, as we were leaning into the final days of SALT conference and this Road to SALT series, that we wanted to get our friends from Canon to kind of help equip and teach and train us today. So you're going to hear from David Doko. He is a senior technical specialist at Canon. He's going to be walking us through some of Canon's controllers, showing off Canon's PTZ cameras and some of the audio tracking stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to David, and make sure that during this, you're asking your questions in the chat. We're going to have David on. He's going to be teaching live from the Canon studio, and we'll have questions with him. So make sure you put them in the chat, and we'll make sure to answer that. Here is David.
Thank you very much, Luke, and thank you for inviting me to this webinar so that I can explain to your audience how Canon PTZs can offer remote camera production solutions for your churches and webinars like this. So I'd like to start off with a short presentation about our lineup of PTZs as well as controllers, and then just really going over the feature sets. Then after that presentation, I'll be doing a live demonstration of not only the RCIP100 controller, but also something called the remote camera control application, which is a software application that can be installed on a PC or Mac. So yeah, I'd like to really just start off by saying, again, thank you. And for those of you who do not know, PTZ stands for pan, tilt, and zoom. And these movements are, of course, incorporated internally in our lineup of indoor PTZs and outdoor PTZs. And those movements can in turn be controlled by camera controllers. And we have two camera controllers. One is the RCIP100, and the other one is the recently announced RCIP1000. Now, these controllers can actually control much more than just movement and zoom. They can offer a host of functionality that I'm going to get into later in this presentation. So a lot of people ask me, what are PTZs? What can I use a PTZ for in my church productions or any production really? And I know that a lot of churches have limited staffing. We're always, dealing with people who may not be available, or who are volunteers, or who have limited training. And so really what a PTZ setup can do for you is that multiple camera positions can be controlled by one operator. You don't have to hire 3 camera people or more to actually run a production. And that can be done through the controller, actually. Multiple cameras, up to 99 in the case of the RCIP100, and up to 200 in the case of the RCIP1000. A lot of PTZs are placed in inaccessible camera positions, so really a lot of times you have cameras on the roof, cameras looking high, looking down from the ceiling, or on scaffolding. And so remote PTZs are ideal for those use cases because they can just be mounted permanently or semi-permanently in these hard to reach positions for human beings. Modern PTZs also have streaming capabilities, streaming support for local streaming, just locally to different PCs in your building, or through the internet. Very important for webinars, of course. And this streaming, it can be done through IP, and the control of the cameras can be done through IP. So you're not reliant on the lengths of your SDI cable or your HDMI cable, even worse, HDMI cable, to really hook up your cameras over Ethernet. And lastly, I just wanted to say that with Canon PTZs, I don't speak for all PTZs, but with Canon PTZs, we offer some automation features through our add-on application system. One of them is the auto tracking software that I'm going to actually demonstrate for you at the end of this presentation. So Canon PTZs are really a marriage of two families of technology. Many of you are familiar with Canon photo cameras. Of course, we're famous for them, and our video cameras as well, our cinema cameras and our professional video line. But people do not know that we actually have a network security business. And so we married these two families of technologies to produce a really, really vital lineup of PTZs for you that have both image quality and have a tremendous set of features. So the optics that you're familiar with, the zoom ranges, the quality of the zooms, the Canon color science, the autofocus. We're famous for our dual pixel autofocus and our contrast-based autofocus. Very, very accurate, great for documentaries, but also for PTZs as well. And the skin tones. People often come to me and say, I really love Canon color. I want to maintain that Canon color in my productions. And so that's why all that has been migrated over to our PTZ lineup. Really an important reason for you to consider our PTZs. And not only is it the image quality, but now with these PTZs, with everything going over to IP, especially for streaming and webinars, we do support a number of streaming protocols such as SRT, a new one that I'm going to go into, NDI, which is New Text Streaming Protocol, and Control Protocol for ideally they're TriCaster, but it's an open standard, and RTMP, RTSP. Canon also has they've developed their own XC protocol for IP control of the cameras, and this is vital for our controllers and for the RCC applications. Like I said, we support the SRT protocol, which is a modern protocol which takes into account the modulations of the bandwidth available on the internet or locally in your LAN, and really provides a way to really stream with the highest quality available. Canon's IP protocol, XC protocol, is all IP based, so it's really done through the Ethernet cables, the Cat5 and Cat6 cables that go to switches, and that you could control our PTZs over great distances, and not just our PTZs, but also our professional video cameras like the XF605 and the cinema cameras like the EOS C500 Mark II and the C300 Mark III. Also, a lot of their image characteristics can be controlled through the XC protocol and through our controllers or software. Going down the lineup of our indoor PTZ family, I'd like to just start off quickly with a rundown on the different feature sets. Our entry-level N100 and N300 cameras, remote cameras, do have a 1/2.3-inch sensor. They do 4K over 30p out of the HDMI port. The N300 has an SDI port from which you could do HD at 60p. The N100, however, our most recent entry level model, does not have a 3G connector for you. It only has HDMI, 4K 30p out of HDMI. And both of these cameras can be powered over just the Ethernet cable. So there's something called PoE, or Power over Ethernet. And all our PTZs actually have adopted that standard, and so that you can just use one Ethernet cable for both power and video streaming and IP control. That's the back of the N300 there. You see the SDI port out here. The N100 loses the support and SRT support. So the N100 and N300 have a 20 times zoom. And that's really goes from for those who know, it goes from a f1.8 which for aperture to an f2.8 on the long end. Stepping up to a 1-inch sensor is the CRN 500. So the CRN 500 offers that 1-inch dual pixel sensor so that you can actually have more accurate autofocus. And that 1-inch provides low light capabilities that the entry level models may not be able to meet. It has a 15 times zoom, and it has PoE plus as well, and has dual XLR ports. So you see in the back here, you get the dual XLR, and it supports SRT as well. The N700 is a step up from the N500 in that you get 4K at 60p, 60 frames per second out of the 12G SDI, as well as the capability to get HD 60p out of the 3G SDI. So I'm going to explain to you in a bit why that's an important feature to have. It does have 3D lookup tables when you shoot Canon log 3, and also it supports HDR. It's our flagship model, and it supports the HDR gamma functions. It also has dual XLR outputs. So the N500 and N700 have the 1-inch sensor, and what that really gives you, it gives you one, low light capabilities that smaller sensor PTZs that do not have. Gives you the ability to control depth of field better because it's a bigger sensor, and it uses dual pixel CMOS so that it takes advantage of the autofocus systems developed for what's called dual pixel autofocus. Really a very highly accurate way that you could use autofocus, and that's our technology, Canon's proprietary technology. So the back of the N700, you can see it has a 12G port and a 3G port here, and timecode, and again, like the N500.